Hey everybody, and welcome to a new video on eStamply Art. In today's video, it's going to be a little bit different. It's kind of like me within a learning process, but basically what we're going to be looking at today is brush lettering or calligraphy. Hey everybody, I want to briefly interrupt my own video for a shameless plug. I have now opened up my Etsy store. So if you go to etsy.com/shop/eStamplyArt or just search for eStamply Art in the search bar on the Etsy website, you will find my store. Currently, there are art prints, handmade cards, notepads, and also some badge reels, holiday or otherwise, that are for sale on the website. Right now for the holiday season, everything is free shipping, but please feel free, go and check out my new Etsy store, and thank you so much. Let's get back to the video. So first off, my handwriting is awful. So I know what I'm writing, but I figured one, it would be a great way to maybe better my handwriting. And also I've always wanted to learn how to do lettering and calligraphy. I just think it's so pretty, and there's really cool things that you can do with it from an art standpoint or, that kind of thing. So I've always wanted to learn, and just also for my own, personal knowledge and development. So I figured in this video, I would kind of show you me working through, my practicing of lettering. And also I watched a wonderful 5-minute simple breakdown of the basics of calligraphy and hand lettering, and I will link to that video down below. And also I'll be using this Ziggs lettering set basics. It's got some nice colors in here, so I believe I got this in an art box, so I figured this would be perfect time to whip these out since it is literally a lettering set. I figured at the end of the video it would be great to write out the namesake of the channel, eStamply Art, in beautiful calligraphy, so we can see all the wonderful stuff that I have been learning. And with all that being said, why don't we get started, shall we? All right, so got my practice sheets, my brush pens, and my handy dandy letter writing book over here. So I'm gonna first do some of the first things that we learned, which was basically upstrokes. And so I did learn that doing the upstrokes, usually it's too much of an angle, you do at a little bit of an angle and with a much more lighter touch than you would. And then obviously when you do your downstrokes are going to be a little thicker, so it's a little heavier pressure. So obviously you get a bolder stroke. Now obviously you have the up-down combo, so you have the lighter stroke going up, thicker stroke coming down, lighter stroke going up, thicker stroke coming down. Yeah, and so those are like two of the basics. So it's lighter strokes going up and thicker strokes coming down. That's like the first lesson that I think anybody needs to learn about doing hand lettering. And also, I forgot to mention, feel free to follow along if you want to. All right, now you're kind of getting into the curves. So with the curves, same premise applies to any of the letters or any of the different things you do. So lighter up, thicker down. So we're going to do a curve, which is going to look like kind of like a sideways S. So it's going to be lighter up, thicker down, lighter up, light up, thick down, light up. And it's really just all about like the pressure you're putting on the pen in your hand. That's probably the hardest thing that I'm struggling with, is just, balancing the pressure to get the marks that you need. And if you do the reverse, obviously you'll go thick, light, thick, thick, light, thick, wrong way, thick, light, thick. So down is always thick. Down, up, down, down, up, down. Actually at an angle, thick, light, thick, thick, light, thick. So those are kind of your basics, especially, you know, when you're doing like the letters and the curves and different things for either combining letters or the way letters start. Okay, and here's the last kind of lesson, is doing kind of like your ovals or your O's that you'll use in different letters. Obviously your letter O and say your A's and part of your E, and you know, different kind of round letters like that. So you do the different ways. So you do your ovals where you can start it thick going down, light going up, thick going down, light going up. And then obviously doing the reverse, which would be, or the angle is actually, the angle is usually, most of the time it's going to be slanted to the right. So ignore my ones where I don't do that. And that's always my struggle, is one, getting the slant, and two, just getting the pressure right, especially coming out of a thick line into a thin line. Usually going thin to thick is a little easier, but going thick to thin, it's like just knowing when to release the pressure. Oh, and one last thing, I forgot about the loops and stuff that you need to do for some of the letters. So like your F's or your J's or different things like that. So let's do some of those. So it's the same kind of deal where you start light and going down thick, light and thick, light and thick. And then obviously if you're doing it the opposite way, so down, thick, and up. These are also things that you need to know, because you will use these in like I said, like your J's, your F's, maybe the top of your K's, I believe. But yeah, this is another stroke that you'll need to learn and everything with your loops. So now we're going to move on to doing some of the letters that we need to do our final piece. I'm not going to go over the entire alphabet. I don't want this video to be that long, but we're just going to go over the letters that we will need to do, like I said, for the final piece. And we'll get started on that now. And like I said, feel free to follow along if you want to. All right, so I'm going to take the letters in alphabetical order. So we're starting with the letter A. We'll do the lowercase a and the uppercase A. So the lowercase a, you're going to use your oval and your downstroke with a little loop at the end. So it's your oval. There's your lowercase a. As you can see, it's your oval, down, light, and using the same techniques that we just learned. So now for the uppercase A, it's a little bit of our curve. So starting out light and going down thick, and then our wavy crossover. So light, thick, and wavy. And obviously when you do these, you know, your hand strokes and everything are going to be different depending, you know, you can see this is different than this one, so yeah, it's just, you know, practice and however you want your letters to look. So now we're going to move on to the lowercase e. So we're going to do a little upward light stroke and then come around, down thick. That didn't join very well. Up. This is your kind of like connector piece that you'll use on other letters, especially with your E. So Let's do one more real quick. So light, light, thick, and light. Yeah, sounds pretty good. But yeah, so that's your lowercase e. As far as your uppercase E, start off kind of light, going thick, light, thick, light. So light, thick, light, thick, light, light, thick, light, thick. And obviously once you know, get a little bit better adept, you can get all crazy and start doing like the weird little flourishes and stuff that people like to do. But I am not there yet. I'm still learning how to do just the basics. So, but yeah, so that's your uppercase E. It's a little simpler than actually your lowercase e. It's just, you know, controlling your hand as it goes down the page. All right, so next let's do a lowercase L. I'm not going to do the uppercase L because that is not what we're going to use. So just the lowercase L. It starts off the same way as the lowercase e, where you do very light, and then light, thick, down. So lowercase L is essentially just like a really longer, stretched out lowercase e. So light, light, thick, up. So you have like the lowercase e, which is a little shorter. And then you have lowercase L, which is just really long and stretched out. Yeah, so that's our lowercase L. And let's go on to the lowercase m as well. Okay, so for the lowercase m, you've got like 3 strokes that you gotta do. So it's like light, thick, light, thick, light, thick, flourish. Light, thick, light, thick, light, thick. Yeah, so it's basically the same 3 movements except the last time you just go up. But yeah, and that's basically your lowercase m. If you're gonna do a lowercase n, it would be pretty much the same movements. Instead of doing it 3 times, you just do it twice. So it would just be like, you know, up, down, up, you know, like that. So your lowercase n would look pretty much like that. Let's do one of the, let's do a lowercase p, which you get to use the little loop and the oval. So down, it's going to be light coming up, and then obviously your oval. Did not do that right. So down, that, and then your down oval, up, thick, light. But yeah, so it's kind of like your basic lowercase p. All right, so we're gonna do a lowercase r, which is a little weird, but but not too bad. So you go light up, do a little swirl, down thick, there. So up, swirl, cross, down thick, light, thick, down. Yeah, so that's like your pretty fancy lowercase r. Now we're gonna do an uppercase s, which can be a little fancy sometimes. So starting off here, light, 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 swirl, thick bottom, kind of like that. Almost looks like a awkward treble clef. But yeah, you can kind of see the S right here. You know, it's kind of like a little skinny S. This one I made a little thicker. But yeah, going up, and the S kind of starts up here and coming down, you know. So you can see the familiarized S within there. But yeah, that's your uppercase S. Okay, so a lowercase t starts off kind of like you did on the on your E or on the L. So you have your little line going into it, thick going down, up, and then line across. That didn't connect very well. Light, thick, So yeah, so that is your lowercase t. Pretty simple on that one. All right, so the last letter we're going to look at is the lowercase y before we start practicing writing out all of these letters together. All right, so you start off light, thick, and then go down, light. So this is your light curve, thick curve, stop, down, light. So that's our lowercase y. All right, so we have practiced all the letters that we need to do to write out the channel name, our lower cases and our upper cases. So we're going to do a little bit of a practice run on the page, like putting the letters together, and then we'll do a final piece. All right, so we're going to do the practicing. The E is easy, because it's by itself, you know, maybe after it. So that's pretty easy. Okay, now let's try to put the Stamply together. I don't guarantee that this will be good. Probably better to do, like, if you can keep going, like with your letters, you know, keeps that flow. Oops. Now let's do art. So, all right. So your A. We're gonna do R. So we've done a fair number of practice ones. So the main thing is just trying to focus kind of while you're doing it. Obviously, you know, me just doing practice, I'm really focusing on it and trying to remember, oh yeah, I need to be, you know, remembering your pressure of going light when you go up and dark when you go down. That's the main thing that you have to remember. All right, so we've done our practice with our different words. So now let's take all of this, put it together in one final piece. All right, so here you go. Here is the final piece. Not too bad. Obviously, I am not a professional, but you know, for a beginner, just learning how to do this, I think it's pretty good. Really nice colors also that came in our brush pack to use. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty well and I'm satisfied. Obviously, I need a little bit more practice, and that is what these kind of lessons are for. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a nice thumbs up down below. And if you want to know about new videos when they are coming out on the channel, please feel free to hit the notification bell or the red subscribe button, which is somewhere down here. And also, please feel free to leave any comments down below in the comment section. I do read all of my comments, and I greatly appreciate any feedback that you can give me. And as always, you can follow more of my artistic journey on Instagram or Twitter at eStamplyArt. As always, I'd love to thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye.